recognize myself for 5 minutes. And thank you all for being here today, and thank you for your willingness to serve our country. I just want to highlight how important it is for Americans to know that that we are looking after them and that we've got their back. You know, deploying National Guard, it would not be necessary, and I think you pointed this out, but it would not be necessary if state and local officials were helping get criminal, illegal aliens and violent repeat offenders off the streets. But the problem had metastasized and President Trump needed to step in. So thank you all for what you're doing. You know, my colleagues across the aisle, they like to talk about the importance of the rule of law, but unfortunately not when it comes to enforcing immigration or criminal law. So I think we should be thankful each and every day for our men and women in uniform who put themselves in harm's way to keep Americans safe. You know, some elected Democrats have even made the dangerous claim that it was the National Guard's very presence that led to the murder of Specialist Sarah Beckstrom and the wounding of Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. I think that's really irresponsible. So let's be clear. A deranged terrorist targeted members of our military who were simply carrying out their mission to keep Americans safe. And they weren't attacked because of President Trump or Operation Make D.C. Safe and Beautiful or anything that service members themselves had done. You know, we mourn Specialist Beckstrom's loss, and we pray for the healing of Staff Sergeant Wolf. And I want to thank the West Virginia National Guard for their service to our country. And it's really special to me. My wife's family is from West Virginia. My wife's from West Virginia and from Berkeley County, home of Martinsburg. And before Martinsburg, many years ago, they were from Webster County, the two counties in West Virginia that were affected. So this is personal. And in small communities, most families know each other one degree away. So our prayers are with them, and we're grateful for them. Let me read off a few statistics from the D.C. deployment here. The National Guard has rendered medical assistance 136 times here in D.C. They found 12 lost children. They've stopped 86 physical alterations. They've administered Narcan 27 times. 27 times a service member has given life-saving treatment to prevent an opioid overdose. I don't know how anyone can actually be against this assistance to local law enforcement. You know, maybe it's the same way the left has now become the pro-cartel, pro-drug boat party. I don't get it. I mean, these are my friends over there. I don't understand it. But my only question for you, Mr. Ditlevson, is I know that crime has gone down here in D.C., objectively, as well as in Memphis. Can you talk about the differences compared to deployments in other cities, and what's driving the factor what's the driving factor in bringing the crime down? What are you all doing to bring crime down? And are there approaches from local law enforcement that you've noticed that have really helped bring about some favorable outcomes?
Senator, thank you for the question. The distinguishing difference in those two situations versus the other deployments is the willingness of governors to step up and ask for help from the federal government. That Title 32 status allows National Guardsmen to do much more than they would be in a Title 10 status in a strictly defensive posture, protecting federal law enforcement, federal property. And it's important to note because in the cases of Oregon and Illinois, Secretary Hegseth offered Governor Kotek and Governor Pritzker, respectively, the support of the federal government to help fund a Title 32 deployment in Portland and Chicago, and that offer was rejected by those governors. And President Trump, as Commander-in-Chief, fulfilling his campaign promises of restoring law and order in this country, led on that issue, federalized troops, and sent them to those cities to protect American citizens, because all American citizens, regardless of whether they live in a red area or blue area, they deserve the right to be able to walk in their cities safely and securely.
Well, thank you for that. And again, thank you for your service. You know, it seemed it's the issue of who's offering the support. And American people overwhelmingly elected President Trump. And we've heard the statement, if he cured cancer, they wouldn't want to take the medicine. Some people wouldn't. But he's bringing down crime. He's offering help to states and communities because he just wants to help the American people, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful, again, for your service. So thank you. Senator